What's up, YouTube? What's going on? TikTok live over there as well. Hope everyone's weekend was great. I was in the 110-degree heat in Palm Springs playing what 45 holes of golf. It was a good time, no complaints. It's one of those things where once you embrace the heat and you're like, you know what you signed up for, it's a lot easier. But if you had a wedding out there in full tux, that ain't ideal. That ain't ideal. But it was a good time. And accomplished my goal, man. My golf goal for 2025 was to get to a single digit handicap. We got there. We got there. I literally needed to par the 45th hole of the weekend. It was a par 4, 18th hole, par 5, 18th hole. Got it done. I was excited. I was excited. And then also, those of you guys that have been on the lives all year long, I've been tracking my workouts halfway done with the month, trying to get 5 sweats a week. I'm like right at it. I missed 2, 4, 6, 8. I missed 9 days in June, which is one too many, two too many. So I'll have to make up for that in this month. I got to give myself a buffer for the fall because then it's hard. The fall is the busiest time of the year, so it's hard to get the workouts in. But we're on track. We're on track. I'll tally it up. I post a lot of the behind the scenes stuff there on my Instagram. So if you're not there on Instagram, I haven't really been going live on Instagram. I will though for the fall though, for any of you guys that like hanging there. YouTube, strong start. I see you. 11 you guys hanging out. Scott, good to see you. Drew, good to see you again. Always recognize your Aaron Rodgers. Are you have to change your profile picture with the Aaron Rodgers dealio? Johan, good to see you again. Travis, good to see you again. Levi, good to see you again. Strong 6 over there on YouTube. Steelers going all in. Steelers do something that I missed over the past 24 hours. Added Joe Burrow tracker in for the lives. Hey, you can book it Tuesday and Thursday. Well, that's a good question, though. I was talking with my team for the fall. I still want to do 2 lives a week. I think I'm going to have to move my Thursday noon live to a different time slot because I'm usually on a plane or in TSA Thursdays at noon. For those of you guys that are new here, I call games and college football games in the fall. I'll have an announcement here probably this month on where that'll be this year. So stay tuned for that. But I'm usually on the plane, so I might need to move my Thursday live slot. So let me know if you guys have a preference there. Usually I'm thinking I should do like a Sunday night or Monday situation. Sunday night would be ideal if I didn't travel. That's a quick turnaround. If I get home at like Sunday morning or late Saturday night, that's tough. Monday morning is good, but it's not as timely as Sunday night. And I know you guys, the second Monday rolls around, you guys are kind of craving for hot takes or good takes, thorough takes. Sunday night, I feel like there's more of a buffer for content creators or sports personalities to just kind of react off the cuff and just give you the vanilla takes. But that's why you guys are here. You know, vanilla takes aren't my thing. I hope that when you guys sit down and watch my content, it's a take. I'm not just regurgitating what everyone's saying. It's something new. Hey, MB, I think Fernando Mendoza could be the best passing prospect in the next draft. Your thoughts? PCR Junior 93, good to see you. Don't know if I recognize that name, but thanks for hanging. So I've had the pleasure of seeing Fernando Mendoza in person probably 4 or 5 times. I called his very first start. I remember he came into our coaches meeting, our production meeting, all juiced up, ready to go. He follows the TikTok content, so Fernando Mendoza is part of the crew. I think he's got a full step or two to go to get to the top passing quarterback for next year's draft. I don't think he's there yet. Could he get there? Yes, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves with Fernando Mendoza. I don't think he's there from a passing standpoint. I think he's clean with his reads, but I don't think he is pinpoint accurate. I don't think the ball jumps off his hand in a clean way like a top NFL prospect should. He goes to a workout next to Cam Ward. He goes to a workout next to Caleb Williams. I don't think his sheer ability to throw the ball is in the same category as those guys. But I do think, keep in mind, that's a guy that was a 2-star recruit 3 years ago, barely got a scholarship to Cal. Cal offered him very late in the cycle. He was set to go to Columbia, set to go to Yale. So there was a world where he wasn't even a Division I quarterback, or at least not a mainstream quarterback, goes to Cal. Pleasant surprise for that staff. Like, he maximized what they thought he was going to be. So I think he has more ceiling to tap into compared to a lot of like the big time recruits. But I don't think he's as pinpoint dialed of a quarterback as people are saying. And in fact, someone asked me the question last week, do I think that Indiana, like who do I think could be a team that takes a step back this year? I think it's going to be really hard for Indiana to hit repeat or run it back 2 years in a row. Totally different mentality, especially in the Big Ten when you're the hunted rather than the hunter. They're not going to sneak up on anyone. And Curtis Wark was legit. It felt like they had the momentum there. Not saying they can't do it, but I'm slow to roll on Indiana. The Speedy Cheetah. What up? Why do you have a huge badge next to your name? What'd you do? Is that good? It's got to be good. Love that. That's unique. Who do I think is the greatest Polish player of all time? I got nothing for you, man. I'm sorry. I got nothing, man. I don't know. Who is it? Who is it? Wyatt Cross QB. Which Washington QB would you take, Sam Heward or Jake Heaps? Wyatt, do you follow me on Twitter? Because I talked with both of them in person at the same time 2 weeks ago. Washington quarterback, stand up, man. The reality is all three of us are five-star Washington quarterbacks that did not live up to the billing and buy into this probably narrative that goes on in Washington high school recruiting that, oh, Washington football sucks and look at Heaps and Brown and Heward. Like they didn't live up to the hype in college. At least, I'll speak for myself on that, I guess. Sam Heward still got some time. Short answer is I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll go Heaps because he's a Skyline Spartan, but I hope that Sam Heward gets one last run, whether it's the dark horse chance at USC to potentially start, potentially maybe he's the backup. I know everyone kind of goes Maeva Longstreet and you forget about Sam Heward, but it's hard to go in there as a true freshman quarterback and be functional. And Sam was a big time recruit. This is his fourth program. That's obviously not ideal, but it does mean that he's learned a lot of football. I know for me, when I got later on in my career with my fifth head coach, you're kind of fucks given, kind of go out the door, right? Or like, I shouldn't say that. Like, I was a kid that would analyze everything early on in my career, and then you get numb to all just the shit that then you kind of like, screw it, let's just go play. At least I tried to. It's easier to do that. Some guys have an easier time doing that than others, but maybe Sam can tap into that, but I'd go Heaps. How should a newbie learn golf? Private lessons worth it. Obviously, money doesn't grow on trees, Dimitri, but it's one of the best investments that I made for golf. If you can afford it, or if you can save up to afford it, and you're really trying to level up the handicap, for me, I was stuck at a 15 for like 4 or 5 years. And everyone would always tell me like, oh, Max, you got an athletic swing, like hang in there. It's right around the corner. And what would happen is I'd go down YouTube rabbit holes and it's all good information, but you might watch a YouTube golf training video and you might need to work on that element that they're teaching, but you have to work on two things before you get there because everyone's swing's different. And by getting lessons, in my opinion, they're able to like walk you through that. And for me, it's like breaking down one barrier at a time. So I swear by lessons if you can do it. Stay consistent. You could even do like one a month just to always have something to work on. But going to the driving range, spending hours there, getting frustrated that you're not getting better versus saving or investing in lessons for a few months and getting dialed and getting locked in, then you're going to get excited. Then it's going to start working. Then your range sessions are going to be better. Then you're going to get more confidence getting around the green or around the course. I swear by that. Yeah, I was a 15 handicap probably 4 years ago. Now we're a 9-2 after the weekend, baby. It was good. It was good. Back-to-back 82s this past weekend my golf memory is terrible. Like when people say like, oh, I got a par on the 14th hole. I was like, dude, I can't even remember. Or on the 16th hole, I can't even remember what I did on the 14th hole. But we played Pete Dye Mountain Course and the Celebrity Course out there in Palm Springs, 110-degree heat, mango-infused towels to cool down. Didn't know that was a thing. Now I'm bought in. I'm from Washington, living in Idaho right now. Wyatt says, I'm going to my freshman year as a starting varsity quarterback. What would you advise? Wyatt, I'm going to Idaho in August. I'm excited to. Love visiting the lake areas out there. Advice for high school quarterback. I mean, I always go cliche, but it's so true because it's the advice that I could have used. Keep it fun, man. Keep it fun. You only get one shot at high school football, whether you're a 5-star quarterback, with dreams of being an NFL quarterback like me, or whether you're just trying to maximize your high school career and at the end of your senior year, you're going to be done. Keep it fun. The guys that I played with that are still playing in the NFL are the guys that had the most fun. It sounds woo-woo and cliche, but the guys that I played with that are still playing in the NFL were not the biggest grinders. Yes, they worked hard. They weren't slappies, but they had a certain – they played football. They didn't work football. So I'd start there. If you have aspirations to or I guess other piece of advice is, you're going into your high school year, I would start thinking about investing now. The mistake I see so many guys is they kind of wake up sophomore going into their junior year, and it's like, now I want to get in the weight room. Now I want to start training and paying attention to, what I'm eating, what I'm training on, footwork, throwing motion, all that. If you can start that clock early, so by the time, hey, your freshman, sophomore year, passes, and now you're hopefully your growth and whatnot's like behind you, or at least you're coming into your own. You're ready to do something junior, senior year. You've been about this life. It's not I'm going to wake up and then now I'm about this life. So I'd say those two things. But the fact that you're even asking that question tells me you're on the right track. So go have a blast, man. Where are you playing? Any chance you're playing at Coeur d'Alene? We played them in high school. Drove over to the Kibbe Dome in Idaho. Played them in the Dome. That was sick. Scott Ordway, Jeff Samardzija made the right choice choosing MLB over NFL and made so much more money. He was a beast at Notre Dame. Beast. Who do you think won the Jalen Ramsey trade? They're about the same age, right? Is Minkah 2 years younger than that? Dude, Jalen Ramsey is one of the best corners of my generation. So I go Steelers, man. Oh, that was what that Steelers comment was. I go Steelers. Jalen Ramsey's a stud, man. He's a stud. I know both guys are, but Jalen Ramsey's that dude. How do you say the Portland Trailblazers as a franchise, and what do you think their future holds organization? That's I think I get the essence of your question. I mean, in hindsight, that Dame move looks awfully good for them. And then what? They're waving DeAndre Ayton, I think is what I saw. I don't know enough of the nuances to give you a real answer. Blake Abrahamson, fellow Skyline alum, and grew up watching the repeat, three-peat. Favorite high school football game you played in? Blake, unfortunately, we did not repeat as the three-peat. We lost my sophomore year, and I was bawling my eyes out on the bus ride home. We won my freshman year when I was the backup, got that done, lost my sophomore year. Brutal, man. Still remember it. Down 24-0, touchdown, 2-point conversion each, down 16-24 on the 10-yard line. Tried to throw a dig to Kaysen. I had a 5-star receiver. I got sacked. Can't take a sack. But also, it was, what are you going to do there? We already had our 2-point play dialed up. It was 7:01. We're going to hit our slot on a little bubble screen and go. It's funny. All the plays you can remember, even as that was 15 years ago. I'm 30. That was 15 years ago, and I can still remember that whole sequence. That shit's crazy. Favorite game I played in high school? I always loved playing in our Issaquah games. When we played our rival down the hill, we played them twice my sophomore year, once my junior year. They thought they were going to beat us my junior year. That was like their year. Then we got after them my senior year, but the Issaquah games were always my favorite. Do you think your potential was overhyped, which led to being a flop, or do ratings hurt athletes? Joshua Emmanuel. Fair question. Brutal question, but fair question. I mean, I'm always torn with this because obviously when I was projected to be like the next Peyton Manning, to not even have a successful college career, let alone even a touch of the NFL, like, I guess obviously my potential was overhyped. I do think I was a much better quarterback than my actual college career showed. I think I played a lot of good football behind the scenes that never consistently showed on Saturdays, which is unfortunate in the reality of my situation. So, I think it's easy to look at my stats and be like, dude, what the hell happened to that guy? But I don't think I was just some trash QB at all. They're not just handing out starting quarterback jobs at USC and Pitt. So it's kind of both ends there. My line here, though, is like when people say, oh, why did things not work out? I do think I was right on the two things. I was right on the tail end of if I was 2 years younger, I don't think I would have been a 5-star quarterback because I don't think you can be a 5-star quarterback nowadays as a sheer pocket passer guy. I think you have to have an element of mobility to your game. It's just the way the game's evolved. And I was like the last class where they still considered pocket passers like on par with dual threat guys. So I do think my recruiting ranking would have been different nowadays. Maybe I would have been a 5-star, but probably not. I probably would have been a high 4-star guy. And then 2, it's going to sound like I'm patting myself on the back, but it's the reality. Dude, I worked my ass off as a young guy. I was in there doing quarterback training sessions as a 7th grader and, no huddle offense as a 6th grader and like very wary of the game. Like we got something. God gave me some talents. God gave me a brain. Let's maximize this thing. And I think I worked really hard like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, which is why I got rated where I got rated. But then as a result, when I got to college, I didn't have a ton of ceiling left to tap into or as much ceiling to tap into as other 5-star prospects. Like a Bryce Underwood, I can't speak to his work ethic, but he walks into college and his God-given ability and athleticism already means he's got a lot of ceiling to tap into left. I don't think I had that because I tapped into a lot of that as a 15, 16, 17-year-old when a lot of guys kind of like to my earlier point, wake up their junior year at 17. And it's like, oh, wow, I want to play college quarterback. I want to play in the NFL. And then they start grinding and then they start working hard, which then gives them more ceiling to tap into. That's something that I do think, assessing my career back in the day, happened to me. But I always say, if you gave me 10 college football lives, I think the reality of my actual college football life was the bottom echelon of what could have happened, if that makes sense. Who's your Indiana team type sleeper? My pick is the Sooners. Patriots Nation 6. Love that take, Patriots Nation. I'd push back though and say, I don't know if people are sleeping on the Sooners. At least I'm not. John Mateer to me is top 3 SEC quarterback. I'd take John Mateer right now over DJ Lagway. I'd take John Mateer right now over Lenora Sellers. That seems like a spicy take. I don't think it is. That dude's a beast. So I think, but Oklahoma's schedule is tough. But to me, I don't put them as like full sleeper. There's a couple teams that stick out. Texas Tech and what they've done in the portal. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Like you look back and Washington was like the semi-sleeper team 2 years ago. They go to the Natty. But on paper, we could have seen that coming. I remember hosting radio shows and people were like, oh, it's USC with Caleb Williams or it's Oregon and Bo Nix, but don't sleep on Washington and Michael Penix. Like people were saying they could have a run. But if you would have said, oh, Washington's making the national championship, they would have been like, oh, wow, what are you talking about? So I do think they classified as a sleeper. Indiana last year, totally. This year, wouldn't surprise me if it's Washington. Not saying national title. I don't think they have the loaded roster they had. But with what Jedd Fisch did in year 1 with the Huskies, that could have got ugly on paper. They were, a 500 team? They got Damon Williams, who I bought a magazine at the grocery store on Friday. He's on the cover of the damn magazine. Maybe people aren't sleeping on him. I think they are. Washington's an interesting team. Texas Tech, with what they've done in the portal, is really interesting to me. And like on paper, it's like, let's not be dumbasses. Like, let's look at the context clues. Texas Tech is doing work in the portal. They could do something. Georgia Tech's really interesting to me. I think what Brent Key, I always get Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech's head coach mixed up. They're interesting to me. Who else I got for you? Yeah, those 3 teams stick out to me. Did you watch any Mountain West Conference last year? I called a UNLV game. I watched some Boise State game. That's about all I got, to be honest. I called the SMU game the week after they played Nevada and almost lost. So I knew a little bit of Nevada, but that's one thing. Abdulia, I thought I was watching Jared Goff on TikTok for a second. The homie, man. Always pulling for Goff, the homie. White Cross QB, I'm playing at Moscow High School. I've lived here my whole life. My dad is a Division I football coach. Hope he's slaying, I hope, for the next couple of years. Hell yeah, dude. My dad went to Moscow. Yeah. My dad moved all around. My dad went to Moscow High School. Not even kidding you. My parents are Vandals, so not the reference you thought you were gonna get today, Wyatt. But all love, man. That's funny. I'll have to tell my dad that. Someone popped on the live, a fellow Moscow High alum. In fact, my dad's 40-year high school reunion, yeah, is this year or just was. Funny. Shafe WS, how can I have a better work ethic? That's a loaded question, man. For me, when I lock in work ethic wise, it happened in social media. It's happened with the workout thing. It's happened with golf. It's happened with, yeah, those are the big three things. Snacking late at night. I get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Where it's like I tell myself, oh, I want to lock in and get strict with the workouts. Oh, I want to start being someone who's consistently posts on social media. Like, and then I say that for like 3 months and it starts to annoy me. 6 months, it's really starting to annoy me. 9 months, 18 months, really starts to get to a point where it's like, enough's enough, man. Like, cut the shit. Like, let's go. Like, I get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then that finally, one day, you kind of, enough is enough. And then once you build momentum, dude, momentum, just like in college football, is a major key. Once you build momentum, then you're good. But you just got to spark that initial week. Like, give yourself 1 month to do whatever, or 3 weeks to do whatever. And once you start the momentum, then it's just part of your thing. I also think the reality of life and psychology, you pay attention to what you pay for. So if you want to get more discipline in the gym, you hire a personal trainer and you have $80 on the line, $100 on the line for your Monday morning session, you better believe your ass is waking up and going to that thing. If you want to start posting social media content and you pay a guy $2,000, $1,000, whatever that looks like to edit videos, you better believe on a Monday night when you want to go to bed or you want to watch Netflix, but you've already invested to pay that guy that amount of money, you're gonna pay attention to what you pay for. You're gonna show up. That's been a big thing for me as well. And then you start building momentum, and the rest is history. Yeah, Turner. Hell yeah. You guys heard it here first. The Texas State to Pac-12 news. Those of you guys that were on the live last week, we had a recruit from Texas Tech tell us that it was official. So I didn't think this would be a breaking news platform, but we had our first breaking news last week. If the Texas State recruit is on the live, drop a comment and let me know. And on that note, too, drop some likes. Good numbers on YouTube today. Like this if you don't mind, and let's get that up there. Got 5 right now. Let's get 10 more. Appreciate that. It's clutch. Helps me out a ton. Me versus Josh Allen on the golf course. Who's winning? Fun fact, just got fitted for golf clubs. The guy that fitted me for golf clubs is the same guy that fit Josh Allen. So maybe that's the guy I should ask. His game's good. Not going to lie. His game's good. I'm taking myself, though. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I've seen I watched his video of, what was it? Him and John Rahm versus Grant Horvat and Phil Mickelson. I watched that YouTube video. Actually, it's a lie. I watched the first 4 holes. I didn't watch the whole thing. But Josh has got some game now. I'm a QB coach for his 4-star recruit here in Cincy, and he is deciding between Arkansas, Oregon, and Bama and Indiana. Any advice? Few things jump out right away. Obviously, the money is not insignificant, and all those schools. I was talking to a recruit that was getting pursued by Oregon, and dude, Oregon NIL wise for a quarterback, they can cough up real effing money, and that is not insignificant. So, as a guy who was the #1 quarterback in the country and then got paid $0. The money that an Oregon quarterback recruit coming out of high school it's life-changing money. Dead serious. It's life-changing money, especially if you're in Cincinnati and you can get Oregon NIL money and buy a nice house in Cincinnati. That's life-changing money. That's a very real factor. But I will say Oregon's going to be after a quarterback every single year in the portal if they're not 100% convinced that their starter has first-round capability. That's why they didn't really go in the portal, because I think they believe Dante Moore can be that guy. But if you're going to be a high school recruit, understand right away that all the days of like, oh, we're going to invest and develop you and all that. I'm not saying Oregon and Dan Lanning are bad people, but that whole development talk is not going to happen to the level in my opinion, of where it would be for a Arkansas or a Indiana, right? Indiana knows, assuming he's a 4-star quarterback and like a good get for those, they're going to invest in you. They're going to pour into you. They've got more. Sure, they might look into the portal as well, but they have an ounce more or a notch more of incentive to make sure it works out for you. I forget the other school that you said, but with all those factors in mind, one of the best pieces of advice that I got, which is a little bit different now because college football is even more of a business. One piece of advice that ultimately was a big deciding factor for why I went to USC, or not a deciding factor, but something that eased my mind when I was torn between whether going to Oklahoma or USC. Where do you want to be on a Tuesday night in March when there's no parties going on, when there's no football really going on, when you're just hanging in your dorm room by yourself? Where do you want to be? Assuming you're taking care of all the other football factors. For me, I didn't want to be in Norman, Oklahoma. I wanted to be, as a West Coast guy in Southern California, getting the USC degree, being a USC Trojan. That just felt right. That felt like home. And that gave me peace of mind to go to USC. So a different kind of advice, but go where it feels like home. Go where they need you. Go where they want you. Go where they need you. What was the third tier that they want you, they need you? I'm blanking. There's a third thing. Anyways, but if Oregon's just you're another guy for Oregon, that gives me concern. But if Oregon loves you and they're recruiting their ass off, they're like, yo, you're our dude, then go be a Duck. Thoughts on Billy B? I am not in on the Billy B UNC train. I have major hesitancy around his coaching style translating to college game. I've been on record saying that before his girlfriend situation showed up, which is also weird. Very hesitant on that whole entire situation. North Carolina is a program that fascinates me. I went there in person last fall. Chapel Hill is gorgeous. North Carolina is an incredibly prestigious school. Why North Carolina is in the same bucket over the past decade in ACC football as Pitt, as Georgia Tech, as North Carolina State, as Wake Forest, as Boston College to some degree, makes no sense. North Carolina should be in Virginia Tech's tier. The ACC tiers to me are Miami, Clemson, Florida State, tier 1. Virginia Tech, tier 2. Pretty much everybody else, tier 3. One of the best performing TikToks I had last year was how weird it was for me coming as a Pac-12 guy. For you YouTubers, you can see my Pac-12 helmet if I can do it right. Pac-12, there's like 6 different tiers of teams. And Pac-12 schools might not like to acknowledge it, but they know what tier they're in. I mean, it was tier 1 was Oregon and USC. Tier 2 was Washington by themselves. Tier 3 was I put Utah, Arizona State, and I would argue Stanford, just because Stanford is so unique academic-wise and what they have done in recent memory. And then it was UCLA, whatever. And then it was like Arizona, Cal, and then Oregon State, Washington State, like multiple tiers. And all those schools, they might get mad with me. They might say, Max, we belong in that tier. That school doesn't belong in that tier. But I think deep down, they know. They know where they fall in the hierarchy. ACC is wild to me, where it's Miami, Clemson, Florida State. I would argue Virginia Tech by themselves, and then everybody else. And then the pushback there will be, Max, if I'm a North Carolina fan, you can't put me in the same category as Wake Forest. Look at the record of the past year, of the past decade, and look at what Wake Forest has done. So I'm putting them in the same category. That could change in 2 years. Wake Forest has some headwinds, but that's where I'm at right now. Team Money, agree or disagree? Pickleball is not a sport. I disagree with that. I'm not saying – I do think tennis is more intense than pickleball, and I get the tennis beef with pickleball, but no, pickleball is a sport. Why pickleball took so long to catch on? I played pickleball as a little kid in Idaho. Where's my Moscow guy? Wyatt Cross, my Moscow guy. I would always play pickleball in Idaho in the summers as a Seattle guy. Why it took so long to catch on? I don't know. Actually, that's a lie. I do know. Here's why pickleball caught on. In my opinion, people are staying healthier longer. People have more, or people are able to run, cut, and move when they are retired or in retirement age, like 60 to 70. Having running and cutting when you were 60 and 70, last generation wouldn't have happened. People are already blown out their hips and knees and ankles, but now you're still active and can move at that age when you are like half retired or fully retired and you want that active sport. And if you don't like golf, you got to go pickleball. That's why it happened. I'll be intrigued to see what happens in my generation when then people are healthy 70 to 80. What, are people just hammering pickleball for another decade? I don't know. Or what's the next sport? I also think retirement is totally overrated. I think my generation is going to punt on the concept of retiring, or more so, maybe my kids' generation will be fully out on retiring, but retirement's overrated. You retire, your brain stops working, your social skills start working. The guys that strike it right is getting down a career path or a hobby that you can stay engaged and make money on, but then it keeps you in pursuit, keeps you growing, keeps you evolving. There's your we're getting outside of the football ranks today, which is good because it's July 1st. We're still in that dull period of football. Love it. Auntie, what's going on? Jay Mace, how we living? LJ Productions asks, LeBron or MJ? Can one of my loyal followers let them know where I stand on that? Let them know. And give me 2 seconds. My door is pinned. Someone help my guy, LJ Productions. Once upon a time, again, I was getting like $200, $300 in stipend checks every month in college. I saved up all my money to buy my own way to Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals to see LeBron, the GOAT, in the flesh, legacy game on the line. I will never see a better sporting event ever again. We will never see a better defensive play ever again in our life. The block, baby. I'm a LeBron guy through and through. Always have been. Been a bandwagoner every stop of the way. I was a Heat guy for 4 years, Cavs guy for 4 years, Lakers guy now. We're all in. I probably just lost some followers that can't stand LeBron. Hopefully you give me another chance if we cross paths again. Zach, what's up, man? Good to see you. Where do I have A&M in the SEC? Dude, the SEC is stacked, man. SEC is stacked. I have not been asked that question. Let me give you a legit answer. I'm picking up all the SEC schools so I can I don't know all the schedules off the top of my head, but A&M's I got Alabama over them. I got Georgia over them. I got Ole Miss over them. I got South Carolina over them. I got Texas over them. I got LSU over them. I got Oklahoma over them. That's 7 right there. They're right at the 5,500 mark. They're a middle tier SEC school. I like that quarterback they have. I'm blanking on his name right this second. Always intrigued with quarterbacks like that. I'm blanking on his name right now. But last year he kind of sparks onto the scene, and it's like, ooh, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill set. Ooh, this is flashy, and this is fun, and this is exciting. But mentally for that kid, your mentality changes completely when you go from, I wasn't expecting to start, to like, this is crazy, I'm starting, I'm having success. Everyone knows my name now, the whole deal, to then having a whole off season where you are the dude. It is your team. You naturally become more vocal. Like there's no looking over your shoulder. There's no like finding your way. You settle in. In my experience, when that happened, guys start practicing better. They're more comfortable. Like I saw that with Cody Kessler. When I was a true freshman at USC, Cody Kessler and Max Whitaker battling it out. Each guy couldn't give the other one an inch. And so you're naturally a little bit more tense. You're paying attention to every single rep and every single throw. And, he got 2 deep ball throws to like show off the arm strength and show off the touchdowns. And I got 2 checkdowns. Oh, crap. To then when it's an offseason where you are the guy, there is no questions about it. You start having more fun. You start playing more free. You start playing better football. Guys start looking to you. You are the leader. So that dude is that. My point being is he could take a big step this upcoming year. Not hit Rapiza 3. I totally butchered that username. My bad. Opinion for Drew Aller this year. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with Drew Aller. Those of you guys that are live every single week, I get this question every week, so I'll keep it short. But I think the football media is not helping Drew Aller because we feel this pressure to anoint the next guy, and Drew Aller is that next guy. We did it last year with Carson Beck. I was on record saying we're doing it too soon. It was okay to do it with Caleb Williams because the tape was there. The proof in the pudding was there. It was not with Carson Beck last year. Has Drew Aller played good football? Yes. Does he have the skill set? Yes. Is he the number one guy set to be the number one pick in next year's NFL draft? No, he's not there yet. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done it consistently, driving the car for his team and his offense consistently. Could he get there? Yes. Is he there yet? No. So I'm a slow to roll on Drew Aller. I think, he's a top 5 college quarterback, but he's not the clear-cut number one guy for me. What's Sam Darnold need to do to be successful in Seattle? Don't turn the ball over, man. If he could just play a clean, efficient brand of football, it wouldn't surprise me if his stats are down a notch. But if he can be efficient, protect the football, and you know what Seattle's going to be. Seattle's going to want to run the rock, and they're going to want to play great defense. It doesn't need to be high flying, and they don't have necessarily the weapons to be high flying. Just play efficient football. Some Matt Hasselbeck type football, man, and he'll be chilling. YouTube, appreciate all you guys sticking around. Throw me a like, get that stream, get those numbers popped up. Will you be going to any future PGA USG events? My cousin met you at Oakmont. Hey, just put the Oakmont driver cover in the bag. Got the forest green driver cover with the Oakmont logo. Sick logo. I also got, we got right there, TikTok can see it, but right there I got more Oakmont swag. I will probably be going to the women's U.S. Open next year at Riviera. It's in my backyard. Not my backyard. That's a 15-minute drive for me. That's the only one I got on the calendar. Princeling, what did you make of Ryder Lyons? That means you watched my YouTube video. Appreciate it. Those of you guys on YouTube, go check it out. It's called Why Quarterbacks Love Mud. My best performing piece of content on YouTube last year was a YouTube short titled, I Started the Quarterback Mud at USC. It has like 1 million views. And so I wanted to make a long form video about it, of why quarterbacks like mud. I made I made the perfect football right here. And then I had Cam Ward and Ryder Lyons review it. So go check that video out. Dude's got swagger. That's for sure. No, I mean, seemed like good. I barely talked to him. I talked with his dad more for like 20 minutes, and his dad, he seems like he's got a great support staff. His agent is one of my buddies, JP. He's got a great team around him, which then makes me optimistic for him. And to my earlier point about, go somewhere where a school needs you and is going to invest in you. BYU is incentivized to give him every single opportunity to have success. Much more than Oregon would have, even as a 5-star quarterback. So on paper, I think he made the right decision. The religious component for that, as a guy who grew up in my hometown had 10% LDS population. So I'm aware of how powerful that BYU connection is to someone of the LDS religion. So I'm happy for him. I talked to him for like 40 seconds though. So don't know enough to really give you a straight answer. What's my favorite concept and why? When would you run this concept? What defense would you run it against? How would you teach this concept to a Division I team? It's the answer everyone gives, but it's so true. My favorite concept, actually, I'll give you 2 answers. The answer that is my true answer to that is 4 verts. I love 4 verts. I love it because you can run it against every single coverage. Man coverage, cover 2, cover 4, cover 3. It's got answers versus all. Versus cover 3, we're hitting the slots. Versus cover 4, you also can have alerts on the outside to comebacks. But cover 4, I'm looking the outside lanes. Man coverage, pick your best receiver. Good to go. Cover 2, you can also have alerts on the slot guys and have them bend towards the middle of the field. So that's where I would look. There's just so many options. You can get your running back involved. If you have like an Alvin Kamara type out of the backfield, 4 verts is my favorite. The other concept that I absolutely loved is mesh wheel. Every offense in America has it now at the Division I level. It's where you run mesh with your 2 slot receivers. I'm dumbing it down. I know that there's like literally 15 different variations you can run this out of, but you have 2 guys rubbing at 5 yards. One guy going right to left, other guy going left to right, and then a third guy sitting in the middle behind him. It's an absolute nightmare for linebackers to communicate on. and your first read is a running back on a wheel route out of the backfield. So you have to run this play on the hash, or someone's going to clip that. You can, it's my favorite to run it on the hash, but I love it again. Same reason, answers versus every coverage, and your progression doesn't change. Working one side to the other. It's called a pure progression concept. No matter the coverage, I'm always going 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. My favorite concepts are ones that have, it's really easy for the quarterback to process and really difficult for the defense to communicate and defend. Those are the best ones. Force your quarterback not to think and your defense to think. So 4 verts and mesh wheel. When would I run it though? Mesh wheel on 3rd down, 3rd and 4 to 6, money, 4 verts, 2nd and 6. It's my favorite. Percy Harvin could have a stellar career, no doubt. Do you think the USC 2026 class will live up to the hype and the rankings? Ted Goat. Don't recognize the username. Ted Goat, thanks for hanging out. I mean, it just totally depends. If USC wins this year, then I think they'll lock in those recruits, and I'd be super excited and optimistic about the hype. If USC doesn't win this year and it's another kind of middle of the road year, I think they'll lose those recruits and it'll be a different situation. How do you actually grip a football? I grip a football very weird. I will show TikTok first. I have a short pinky, actually. Clay Helton used to kind of give me shit one time. A lot of quarterbacks, their pinky is on that lace. For me, my pinky doesn't touch the lace. So I only have one finger on the lace. I only have my ring finger on the lace, which is kind of goofy. Where I sucked, or where I where I went wrong, and I would have it's the fine line if you don't want to overanalyze your grip, because if you're overanalyzing your grip, you're thinking about like that's too nuanced of a factor. Like that's not going to help you, especially when you're an older quarterback, like junior, senior year of high school and beyond. But when I was younger, this is why I was not great throwing in the weather. I had the ball buried in my hand versus having some gap there and having it be a little bit loose. As a result of it being buried in my hand, when the ball got really wet, it was really hard for me to just throw in the elements because it was kind of buried in there, versus the guys that I played with that threw the ball the best in the elements were very much fingertip grippers rather than palm grippers. I just showed it for TikTok, for YouTube. Here's finger grip versus palm grip. That's one thing that I would always push a young quarterback on. Grip it with your fingertips. Don't let it bury into your palm. Indiana or Purdue? My father-in-law went to Purdue. Go Boilermakers. What is the future of place kickers? Shoot, I wish they went back to the square-toed shoes. What do you mean by this? Avocado, bro? What do you mean by future of place kickers? I think they'll continue to be soccer style. I think they'll continue to get locked in. That's where I have an 8-inch hand. It's so hard for me to grip a football with fingertips. Yeah, I feel you, dude. That's tough, man. Luckily, this is the NFL ball's as fat as it'll come. If you need a skinnier football, those Nike Vapor Ones are skinny. All right, what do we got? TikTok. Why is everyone saying Nas Reed? Dude, I'd be seeing the Nas Reed to the Lakers little drama. Who impressed you at Elite 11 this year? The Tennessee commit is a baller. He is next up. What's his name? Tennessee quarterback commit. He's a baller. He is next up. That ball pops off his hand. He's like 6'5". You can tell he's athletic. Faison Brandon. Lock that name in. If that's the first you're hearing that name, and if you play in a futures fantasy football league, one of those goofy leagues where you can like pick guys way in the future, keep a name on that. Keep an eye on that. He's a beast. Did you enjoy your time at Pitt? I mean, it didn't work out for me football-wise, so that was kind of a bummer, but I love the people, and the city was way cooler than I thought it was going to be heading out there, so it was cool. I kept it low-key, though, man. I spent a lot of time by myself. I was on a year-long business trip, man. One last ride at trying to make the football dream come true. So I was not all business. I wasn't like a robot, but I wasn't having like this all going out on the weekends all the time situation. Zach Smith, #1 player on 24/7. Yeah, that makes sense. He's up to the billing. If you were given the opportunity to play for a current NFL team, who would you pick and why? Dude, the Vikings setup is so ideal with Kevin O'Connell. JJ McCarthy's in a good position. He's in a good position with the coach. I think expectations for people are getting ahead of themselves with expectations for himself, and him having to come behind Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold's success is not easy. So I'm backtracking on my take, but that's one. Learning from Matt Stafford and being in Sean McVay's system and living in Southern California wouldn't be too shabby either. Those two answers stick out. Do I like cheeseburgers? Yes. Big smash burger guy. I'm totally on the smash burger train that's taking over, at least where I live on the West Coast. I don't know about people in the South or East Coast. Smash burgers are everywhere. Big fan of the double patty, double cheese, rather than like the thickness burger. We can put down some burgers, but Team Smash Burger with some grilled onions. Also, didn't realize this was like a hot take. Go with grilled onions, go sweet onions or white onions. Don't go red onions for grilled onions. I didn't realize some families do that. That's weird. Sweet onion or white onion for grilled onions. Save the red onion for sandwiches and guac. Don't cross-pollinate. You're welcome. How do I like my steak look? There's only one right answer. So this is where my dad kind of gave me a little shit, and it's a classic LA move. I did not know medium rare plus was a thing, but I guess it is. I'm a medium rare plus guy, which basically, like, there's people that heard me say that and like, Max, medium rare plus is like not a thing. It's either medium rare or medium, but medium is like disrespectful. But basically, medium rare plus is like, hey, chef, want to let you know that I respect your craft of cooking a medium rare steak, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but don't get a little frisky with taking a medium rare steak and having it be rare in the center, like fully rare. Like don't get overboard here. Don't hear medium rare from me, and then you go crazy with really pushing the rare side of that. Medium rare plus is like, I respect you as the chef. Give me medium rare, but don't take it too far where half the steak is like purple in the middle, So I'm a medium rare plus guy. Best fast food burger. Dude, it's In-N-Out. It's In-N-Out. It is In-N-Out. I know In-N-Out's fries are ass. Why they haven't figured that out? Actually, In-N-Out's fries don't make you feel like shit afterwards. So that's one thing. But it's In-N-Out, dude. In-N-Out's got the best. Here's why. It sounds weird. In-N-Out's vegetables are like the best vegetables ever, which sounds like Max. Another LA take on the burger. I got you. But like, you get good lettuce and good tomato in a fast food burger with elite grilled onions, good lettuce, good tomato. Obviously, the best fast food burgers are all going to have quality meat. The In-N-Out burger is bomb, dude. Bomb. Get the little tray on the side and mix the special sauce spread with ketchup and dunk that. Living life large. Got to go grilled onions, though. In-N-Out's overrated. Yeah, it probably is if you if you've been hearing about In-N-Out for like 10 years, then you go to In-N-Out for the first time, then it's probably overrated. But if it's just like part of your, I probably have an In-N-Out burger twice a year. I could have it every weekend, but we don't. What else is good? I love, oh my gosh, what's that place called with the green logo, with the crinkle fries? Shake Shack. Shake Shack is heat, but I always walk away hungry. Their burger's like small. So I'm not a big thing. Sorry, I'm reading this question. Speedy Cheetah. I'm a 5-star quarterback in my junior year at Pittsburgh. In my sophomore year, I had a bad season. I want to transfer, and it's between Pepperdine and Hawaii. What do I do? Stay or transfer? Pepperdine doesn't have a football team, so Hawaii. Can we please talk? Yes, sir. What up, Mike? Good to see you. Am I back on CW? We're finalizing that right now. Should have some news here this month. Hope you're well, man. I'm sure it's a crazy time in your world talking politics and all that. Crazy time, but good time. Given as a political commentator, probably giving you a lot of stuff to talk about. Natty predictions, Noah asks. I got that question last live. Let me get back to you. I don't want to just throw something out there. Let me get back to you. I don't know. Max, have you ever had Maryland blue crab? I have not, Zach, but I'm a big crab guy. The Brown household, when I am there for Christmas Eve, now I'm married, so we got to go every other year. But Christmas Eve night, crab tradition, elite. Elite. Thoughts on Jackson Dart? I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. I'm pissed at myself for losing steam with Jackson Dart. He was my dark horse Heisman candidate in 2023. I knew he had the juice to be a first-round draft pick. I should have stayed on my take. That's what you get for being soft with a take. You can't do that. Can't be soft with the take. Paid the price. Lesson learned. I knew he was a beast. But I think that Giants, to answer your question, to give you more of a thorough take, that Giants quarterback room to me is awkward. To have Russell and Jameis and Jackson Dart, to have to develop a young guy, manage the personalities of both Jameis and Russell, who both want to be leaders, that ain't going to work. Oh, and Tommy DeVito, who's an established guy there, at least in some capacity within the locker room. That to me is awkward. My take is I think Jameis Winston gets dealt before the season. Jameis Winston has enough good ball left in him that I don't think he can be a third-string guy. And I don't think Jackson Dart will be even if he's a third-string guy, I don't think he'll be there for long. So that's my hot take. Look for Jameis to get dealt before the season, especially if some team has an injury. Boom. Do I like Trump? No, I think he's an arrogant asshole. But I do think his policies, sometimes people criticize the man and not the policy unfairly to him. So I'll leave it there. But no, if he wasn't an arrogant prick, man, our country would be way more tied together. Super Bowl champs next year? Ooh. I think there's going to be a hangover for the Eagles. I'll go Rams at the NFC, just like first reaction off the cuff. And who on the NFC East? I'll go Ravens. I'll go Ravens, Rams. Ravens, Rams, Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson gets over the hump. Gosh, I don't want Lamar Jackson to be like our version's Allen Iverson, man. It'd be so good to have him get a ring. So good to have him give it a ring. Top 5 toughest stadiums to play in college. I've never been to SEC country. I won't act like I have been in SEC country. So I won't give you the top 5 in college football. I'll give you the top 5 that I've seen in person. I'll go Penn State 1. I got them during the day. That environment at night would be stupid. I'll go Oregon 2. I got them during the day. That environment at night would be stupid. I'll go Washington. People know how crazy Seahawk fans are on Sunday. Well, where do they hang out on Saturday? The greatest setting in college football on Montlake, Washington. I'll go Rice Eccles, Utah 4. The muss gets loose, especially when USC comes to town. All the West Coast schools, whenever USC comes to town, they get loose. And then number 5, I'll go Blacksburg, Virginia, Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech, rocking with Enter Sandman. One of my favorite moments calling games in my career so far. We made sure to do the open at Virginia Tech live. No recorded open, live. It was my first, like, nationally televised, the whole deal, like, nerves, the heart's going, ready to go. But then Enter Sandman is playing in your back ear. You got the producer in one ear, Enter Sandman in the other. Like, I was juiced up. It almost made it easier to do the open because you feel the energy as a broadcaster, but you feel it as like the player inside you is like, dude, this is fucking sick. And you didn't need to like manufacture the energy. It was rocking, and it was big time. I do not know Roman Voss. Do I do the cha-cha? I do not. Best Heisman season since 2010. Washington Huskies clips. Jonah Coleman, Washington Huskies clips. I be seeing those pictures of Jonah Coleman's body transformation this spring. I will say every weight room cheats those pictures. they take the picture when guys like fresh off a meal, or like you can tell their skin's not glossy, so they're not sweating at all, and there's just like at a random time in the day, and then they always take the after picture after he's like swollen and got a pump. So they always cheat it, which the average fan doesn't realize that. But I'm a believer, man. I called Jonah Coleman's game in 2023 when he was a little beast. I say little because he's short, but he's obviously like 210 pounds. I'm a believer, and they feed him the rock. He's like it's rare to have a feature back like that in college football. Joshua Turley, how do I think the Gators will do this year? Unfortunately, Joshua, I'm assuming you're a Gators guy. I'm a little slow to roll on the Gators. I think DJ Lagway has all the talent, but we had this question last week. The Gators schedule is no effing joke. And if we did this last week, but they'll start 2-0. LIU and South Florida, boom. They go to LSU. LSU fans think they should win that game. They go to Miami. Miami fans think they should win that game. Texas comes to the Swamp. Texas fans think they should win that game. They go to A&M. Good luck playing at A&M. Missouri, Mississippi State. All right, that's a win. Georgia goes to them. Georgia fans think they should win that game, or that's the like neutral site thing situation. They also got they got to go to Ole Miss. That could be a loss. I won't put up my finger. But then they also got Tennessee, and they got Florida State. They'll lose at least one between Florida, Tennessee, and Florida State, in my opinion. They could have 6 losses. That's just how stacked the SEC is. So if I had to bet on a team that might underperform just because expectations are so high for Florida, that's a team that I'd look at. Piggyback off of that, top 5 intros in college football. Virginia Tech got to be number 1. Yeah. What? Virginia Tech, Tennessee. Who else had a sick intro? Yeah, I don't know. Siobhan, good to see you. What are some of the biggest struggles that QBs can experience from a leadership standpoint, and how can they develop in that perspective? Struggles from a leadership perspective. The biggest thing that comes to mind is if you're not the hardest worker in the room, or if you're at least not a top tier work ethic guy, well, then when you try to be a vocal leader guy, it's going to fall on deaf ears in your locker room. So in my opinion, where it works against guys, or where the team's like, man, screw this guy, is when you're not a grinder. The best leaders for me that I ever was around from a quarterback perspective were the hardest workers in the room. I also think the reality of being a quarterback is you can't be a leader by example. I think that's a cop-out. I think that's when we say that, it's because we don't want to make guys that are not extroverts feel bad about themselves. You can't be an elite leader as a quarterback as an introvert. That's just the reality of the situation. That's not to say you're going to be a bad quarterback. That's not to say you're a bad guy, but you can't be a leader if you're not willing to, during conditioning, be like, guys, we got to straighten our stuff out. That's just the reality of the situation at the quarterback position. So those two things. If you're not an elite work ethic guy, then your message is going to fall upon deaf ears, or your lineman's not going to ride with you. Like the random left guard or the random reserve defensive tackle that you have nothing in common, but he's like, yo, I know that guy works his ass off. He's going to follow you. If you don't, he's not going to follow you. If you're an introvert, you're going to struggle to be a leader as a quarterback, in my opinion. Or if you let ego get in play and you never want to be the guy that's ever like getting on people, not that you need to be on your high horse, but if you're all flash and all that, and all, my way or the highway, I'm too cool for school. But what happens when it's a tie game, 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter against your rival, and you need the defense to get a stop, and you go in that huddle and you give your message? Well, if you're too cool for school, Mr. Flash, that defense can be like, man, get out of here. Get out of our huddle. We don't need you here. We're part of the defense. Get out of here. But if you are a grinder and you are that dude and you're about that life, you go in that huddle for your defense. When they got to get a stop, everyone's going to be pinpointed on you. And you might get that reserve defensive tackle who's about to shit his pants because he's so nervous about, hey, the season's on the line. He might get a little bit more confidence if you're that guy that might instill him making a sack late in the game. It's my take. Vengeance, Mountain fourth quarter comeback, game on the line, final drive. What play call are you calling? I mean, 4 words, man. 4 words. Oh, it's 1 p.m. I gotta go get a tux fitting for a wedding that I'm not even in the wedding, but it's black tie. So I gotta get dialed. I gotta get showered. It's at 1:30. That hour flew. It's because of you guys. The questions were great. Seriously, thank you. I'll be back Thursday at noon. We're doing this every Tuesday, every Thursday for an hour, noon Pacific. This was fun. For those of you guys on TikTok, go check out all the YouTube stuff we're doing. That's why I've been slow posting on TikTok these past few months. We've been rocking and rolling on YouTube. And YouTube, great day out of you. I see you. Numbers are solid. Thank you. And I'll be back on Thursday. See you, everyone.